everybody, Martial Arts Guy here again for another review. I tell you, I love Halloween, but then again, who doesn't? Candy, ghosts, costumes. Yeah, I know I haven't really posted a new video lately. You know, I've been kind of busy, per se. No! Oliver! You and Felicity belong together! Why? Today, I thought I would treat you all to another Halloween classic, a martial arts movie you can watch for Halloween. The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, starring Peter Cushing. Who's Peter Cushing, you might ask? Well, he was a staple of the Hammer horror films, and was in the movie Star Wars. Let me see. Episode 4, Grand Moff Tarkin. You know, the guy who said, you know, who was kind of in charge of the Death Star, but then got killed when the Death Star blew up in episode 4. Yeah, that guy. Now, this film is unique for me because it's a combined effort between the Shaw Brothers and the Hammer horror films. Let me say that again. The Shaw Brothers and the Hammer horror film. That should tell you something right there. I mean, to me, that doesn't sound too... That just sounds crazy. I mean, have you ever heard of two completely different movie studios coming together? They're Shaw Brothers, martial arts, lots of fighting, cheesy dialogue. Hammer horror, well-made British horror films. Well, let's see with East meets West in this review. Our movie begins with a Chinese monk traveling to Transylvania for unknown reasons. We discover that this priest's name is Khan, and that he has come to Transylvania to bring Dracula to bring back his clan and of vampires to their former glory. No, no, no. You're not Dracula. You're not Christopher Lee. This isn't Dracula. Dracula then decides to take Khan's body so that he may do with him what he wish, and leave to go to China to rule in his place. We then go to China, where Dr. Van Helsing is giving a lecture on vampires, played by Peter Cushing, reprising his role from as the character. But nobody cares about his lecture and then just decides to up and leave the class.
I am an outsider.
Well, that went better than his last lecture.
Here, pass it along. Don't worry, there's plenty to go around.
We then meet Van Helsing's son, who is traveling with his father in China, and we meet Vanessa, a rich Scandinavian woman who is out traveling the world after her husband passed away.
I would so much like to meet him.
Later, Van Helsing is met by a man named Shi Ching, who is at his lecture, who has asked for his help, for Van Helsing as a vampire hunter, not as a scholar. It turns out Shi Ching's village has been taken over by 7 evil vampires and their leader Khan, and they need an expert vampire hunter like Van Helsing to help them defeat these vampires. On their way home, Vanessa and Van Helsing's son are attacked by the Tongs, Chinese gangsters of sorts. So yeah, Van Helsing's son sucks. Yeah, he's not a good martial. He doesn't know thing one about fighting, or yeah, he's not equipped to deal with martial arts vampires. It turns out that the men that saved them were 2 of Shay Kang's brothers. And now, with proper motivation, Van Helsing has decided to go, but it's going to be an expensive trip.
How much?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
How much would this expedition cost?
We will need stores and provisions. Penghu is a long way away. I think perhaps 10,000 Chinese dollars, madam.
You have it.
So now Van Helsing, his son, Vanessa, She-King, and his brothers and sisters are now off on their journey to the village to face the vampire and their armies. So, you found the most well-known vampire hunter and have convinced him to come on your quest to fight an army of 7 evil vampires in a village near nowhere, with just you and your brothers and your sister. Great plan, guys! While on their journey, the Tongs have decided to retaliate after the dishonor they felt last night. So She-King and his brothers and his sister have all decided to take up arms against the Tongs. After their victory against the Tongs, they have decided to camp for the night and plan their strategy for when they reach the village.
But how to destroy them?
A wooden stake driven deep into the heart. Or better still, a silver shaft.
Fire. What of fire?
Not in Europe. In the East, perhaps. I don't know. There are many things.
Well, it's actually interesting what Van Helsing says. Chinese vampires and Western vampires are very different from each other. Now, both are killed with a shot to the heart, wooden stake and everything, but with Chinese vampires, you need to set them on fire. And Chinese vampires can't cross rivers. I guess Western vampires can't, European vampires can't. The legends are kind of fickle, but Chinese vampires seem pretty simple to me. The next night, the heroes are attacked by the vampires!
Strike in their hearts! With 3 of the vampires dead, our heroes must prepare for the coming night once they have reached the village, and finally finish the vampires for good. The vampires have now come for revenge, and now the final battle for good and evil begins. King! You must destroy her!
What a good waste of a good pair of breasts.
The last vampire decides to take the sister so that he may feed off her to extend his life. But Van Helsing's son decides to go after her and save her life and kill the last vampire. Van Helsing's son comes to the rescue, but is no match against this great vampire. But his father and others have now come to his aid.
So, they just keep a cauldron of blood just for the hell of it. Why? You know, I thought that once they killed the victims, the blood would just go into the cauldron and they just drink from it. Yeah, the cauldron of blood, just there for decoration. Yeah. I mean, who does that, really? You know, center of the room with your sacrificial altar, you got a cauldron of blood in the center, and it does nothing.
With the last vampire dead, Van Helsing must now face his arch-nemesis, Khan!
Khan!
Nah, I'm just kidding. Of course it's always Dracula. It's always Dracula.
Look on me now.
Well, there goes my chance for seeing Dracula getting his ass kicked with a bunch of kung fu fighting. So, despite its cheese and despite its craziness, Seven Golden Vampires is a good movie. You know, it's a staple of two different film studios working together to create somewhat of an interesting, harmonious effect. I can't say this enough, but you have to check this movie out. If you're either a Shaw Brothers fan or a Hammer horror movie fan, you have to see this movie. Simply because it's just too strange not to see. So remember, everyone, have a safe and happy Halloween. I'm the martial arts guy, and I gotta go to class.